Okay, kids, tonight it's beef and cabbage night. I remember this when I was a kid. My mom used to fix this only because it's a cheap dinner. So I'm going to show you what stuff I've already gotten prepped. Okay, got out the large cast iron skillet. I'm going to coat it with some olive oil, which I have out. And over here we have 4 cups of cabbage mixed. This is a blend with regular cabbage, red cabbage, and carrots, which is great. Have some coarsely chopped garlic, onion, green pepper, and the yellow pepper left over from the pizza that we made yesterday. A little bit of Poblano pepper that gives a little bit of heat. Some mozzarella cheese. A can of no salt diced tomatoes with the leftover tomatoes from the pizza yesterday. A little bit of leftover Picante Sauce. Some oregano, some Himalayan sea salt, and some pepper. So this is what we're going to be putting into the skillet here in just a moment and getting that stuff cooking. So we'll be back with you in just a minute. Okay, so in our skillet, we got our garlic and our onions, and we're sweating them. We've been seasoned a little bit of salt and pepper. And when they get a little bit more done, we're going to add our ground beef to it and let it do some more cooking. It's just about ready for the beef. So, we'll be back in just a moment when we get some more progress. Okay, so we're back. I've got the ground beef into the skillet with the sauteed garlic and onions. I'm going to let you take a look and see what that looks like. Okay, so here we go. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of moisture there. So we're going to let that cook out just a little bit before we start adding some of the other vegetables. And while I was getting this together, I remembered that I had some Napa cabbage in the refrigerator. So I went and I drug it out too. So I'm going to put that in and give us a little bit of variety on the different kinds of cabbage that we have with this. This is very close to having those other vegetables added, which we'll see here in just a few minutes. In the meantime, I've got the oven preheating to 400 because this is going to go in the oven here in a little bit and melt the cheese as soon as we get that on there. So be back in just a little bit. Okay, so I have taken and added the peppers and the tomatoes. And the tomatoes, of course, have some extra juice, so we're going to let that cook off just a little bit before we put our cabbage in there. But this is smelling delicious. So we're just going to let it continue to cook and add the cabbage here in a little bit. But we're going to give those peppers a chance to get tender a little bit before we do anything more. Okay, so the tomatoes were a little bit more soggy than I thought. So I'm going to show you a kitchen hack that I have used occasionally to thicken things up when this doesn't want to seem to thicken too very well. Particularly great with tomatoes. So here it is. Okay, into the skillet, I have added some Parmesan cheese. And that is going to slowly start thickening up that sauce a little bit. But it's just about to the point now where we can go ahead and add our cabbage, which is what I'm going to do. Put this over here to where we can see this. This is 4 cups of cabbage. Boy, it's going to be a lot of eating here. And this is our little bit of the Napa cabbage. I pulled out all the ones that didn't have the big stalks to it. So that's just, oops, there's that stuff right there. We're going to slowly stir this in so it'll start to cook. This is going to be delicious. You can tell it already, and it's a big pot. There's a lot of stuff here for 2 people. Imagine what this would do for a family of about 4 or 3. Oops. Well, I guess I will need both hands to stir this. So we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, I got all the cabbage in there, and I've added a little bit of oregano on the top, and I've started all in. We're not going to let this cook long here, just enough to start getting the cabbage softened, which is really, really close to that. Then we're going to add the mozzarella cheese on the top and shove this puppy in the oven long enough to melt the cheese on top. Oh, this is looking good, and it's smelling wonderful. Oh, yeah. Check that out, baby. Have a plate full of that and fill your stomach up before you know it. Okay, back in a bit. Okay, here's one last look before she goes in the oven. Check that out. That is a 14-inch skillet full of yumness. So in the oven, it's going to go for about 10 minutes. And we'll see what it looks like then. Okay, it's all done. Let's check it out.